What's up, brick builders? Today's build is Record Breaker. Set number 42033. Year it came out was 2014. Age group 7+. Number of parts 125. Price per piece is 14 pence. Cost back in 2014 was $17.99, and if you have a mint sealed box, good condition, you are looking at £35. Not a massive investment. And used £7 to £9. Hello, folks. Shit. Oh dear, gotta cut my head off. That's not good, is it? Yay! Right, that's better. Hello, folks. Shaun from BRIT'N Bricks. Welcome to another build. This is another Technic build. We haven't had Technic build for a little while. We've been doing the mixels and stuff like that. This is part of the James Yorke challenge. Check out the playlist right here. Also, check out the playlist of the mixels that you see in the channel. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. The mixels are great little builds. So I'm just clearing my way for my mouse mat. it's kind of running off the desk. So yeah, this is a small pullback motor Lego build. There's our build there. There's our pullback motor right there. Two different size wheels. We've got the double side rims. We've got the racer and we've got the industrial. So we've got those two, and then we got these two here, these like pulley wheels. They have a little track going down the inside, and we're going to be putting these rubber rings in there, and those are going to be other wheels. Also, we have another wheel, again, racer, industrial. See the nuts inside there? There's only one of those. What could it be used for? We'll find out. Cockpit that we've seen in a couple of Star Wars builds quite a few times, so that's kind of familiar. Then we got a few Technic beams and some panels here, some curved panels. Great colors, like the dark blue. Not so much in there though, so it's going to be just like hints of it, and it's going to be quite cool, I think. Let's get the instructions up for you. There's the instructions. Apologies, folks, it is a little bit dark with the black pieces there. I will be working on the instruction book next to me if I have any issues or struggle with it. So we're going to start off with a 5-hole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hole black beam, and then we're going to put a pin in each side like so, and then on the other side we're putting a pin next to it and next to that one as well. So we got the middle hole has no pin. That is going to fit next to a 15 long beam, and this is, I think this is a 15. I'm just going to use it against the instructions. That's what instructions are really handy for. We're going to go one hole in, and then we're going to drop. And then we're going to have a long blue pin, and you're going to go short part in first, so it's going to hang out quite a bit. And then we got another blue pin that is just going to go one pinhole, because you can't put a pin in there because there's a pin in there already from this beam. So you go put the next one next to it. Again, short end in first. And then we're going to do the same thing on the front here. I'm going to designate this the back, this is the front. So again, we're going to be short end in, and then we're going to make a hole, and then we're going to go short end in. So it should end up like something like that. Next is the H shape, big H shape piece there. It is in the form of a H, as you can see. And that is going to go on this side here, and it's going to go right next to that beam. Give it a bit of a wiggle, because you've got two pins to line up. And then what we're going to do, not in this hole, but in this hole, the closest hole to you, if you're going to hold it like that, closest hole to you, you're going to drop a black pin. Like that. Pullback motor already, cool. A 9 long grey axle. Now that's this one here. The axles, the colors later on in the Lego production, I found that the even numbers are black axles. So this is a 6 axle. And the odd numbers are grey axles. Just something to remember there. It kind of helps you with knowing what kind of size axle you're looking for. Next is your pullback motor. You got the orange axle hole there. On the instructions, that axle hole is at the bottom, so we're going to turn that over so that the axle is now closer to me. And then this is going to come in from behind, go straight through, and then we're going to put a bushing on the other side there. So we put a bushing on each side of the axle there. I forgot to mention the bushing that I was putting on there. Sorry about that. And that's just winding it back, and it should, and it works perfectly. Probably not the best way to test out if your motor works. And then we're going to mount that to this frame here. And we got these pinholes here along the bottom of the axle, so bottom of the motor, because we're going to call this the bottom here. So along the bottom here we've got these holes, and these pins are going to go into from here and then in that area as well. So they're just going to go in there. 2 pins to line up, give it a little bit of a wiggle, nice gentle wiggle, and it will push home. And that has enough room for another bar to come down the side. Alright, so I'll pop that over there because you can see that there because they've got the face camera over there. 1 hole 2 axle plate, sorry, and then we got 2 red 2 long axles. Now, the 2 long axles, the 2 stud long axles, usually come in mainly in red, but they have been known to be black as well. Keep an eye out for that. We're going to take a small L shape, so you see it's the shape of an L, kind of obvious, and we're going to put the plate in underneath like that, so that these pins are staying up and the foot of the L is at the bottom towards you. Next, we're going to put another one of those 2 axle 1 hole plates on top, and that I think is going to be the seat. I think that's going to be the seat for the driver. Now we got this pin it's a almost half a pin. Where is it? Dark bluish grey. There it is. Half a pin, and then it's got an axle. So it's 3/4 of pin, sorry, and then a quarter of an axle, which is quite clever. And that's going to go into the bottom or the elbow of the L shape, and it's going to be pin in, and axle is going to be on one side, pin on the other side. And that is going to pin onto the frame, and it's going to pin just in front of this black pin here. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be right up against the thing. Right there, next to it. Like that. So it's going to rest against, I think it's going to tilt backwards. I would have mine tilt backwards. Look, yeah, it's tilting backwards in the instructions, right? Careful. Fair enough. Right, so we want a axle with a stud on the end. It's usually like a dark tan in this one. Let's see. It's an axle all the way, and then you got this stud at the end there. So that's going to go through this hole here next to the H shape. Going to go through, and then we're going to put an ET head. Yeah, that reminds me of ET's head. So, and it's going to be the axle. So you're going to have the ET head facing up, line the axle up, and then push it all the way. And it should be like that. Next, we've got the other bar. So we're going to line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 4 studs, no, 4 pins to line up and 2 axles. So 6 things to line up. Can be a bit tricky. Got quite a few things. Right, that's the back end on. So I'm going to concentrate on this now. Just give it a very gentle wiggle. And in it goes. There we go. Oh, you know what? I get a little bit ahead of myself there. We have to put another one of these beams. So that was quite a successful connection. But we have to put another one of these beams, same size, on these 2 pins here. So it's going to be this hole here, the end of the hole, the end of the beam. And we're going to try and, without taking it off, wiggle it, push it through. Now put them back together. There we go. Right. So there you go. Now you've got the full size of the model, and that's actually quite a big, long. Well, that's actually quite a long model for something like this for $17.99. Not bad. Right. So then we go get another 5 beam, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do pins, 1 on each side, and then on the other, on the reverse of it, pins next to it. Like that. This time it's going to be this way with this with the narrower pin configuration pointing out, just like this one. And you're just going to line that up again. And there we go. That's perfectly in line there, and we're probably going to get another H shape on here, I think. Yep, another H shape. It's going to go next. So very symmetrical, and then we got a pin in the first hole, like that. Oh, another H shape. Okay, so we got another H shape, and that's going to go into these 2 holes here of the ET head. So can be a little bit tricky. Oh no, that went straight in. And then we put in 2 black pins in top of that H shape. Yeah, there we go. I knew I was going to drop it at some point. I just cannot handle my Lego. There we go. So it's like that. And then we got this handlebar piece, or this motorbike forks. It kind of reminds me of motorbike forks. You know, you've got the forks here where the wheel would go, like that. And this is the bit where you would steer and your handlebars. That's kind of what that piece reminds me of. And that is going to go into... Oh, we got a beam. We've got a 5 beam going across here. So we'll do that first. It's going to join these 2 pins. Now we can drop that in to the beam. Like that. Ooh, hello. We got the long arch piece with the L shape in it. This is the big version of it. And in this set, you only have the bigger version. I mean, there's another bigger version than this, but there's a smaller version as well with a 3-hole or a 2-hole axle arch shape. I can't get my words out today. 3 stud long axles, and again, you see, it's a grey axle, so I know that it's an odd number. I put my finger behind to stop the axle going through it any further, and I'm going to put another one there. I'm going to put it on the table, and I'm going to line these other ones up, and this should not push the axle through the other side, and it actually keeps it nice and even. So we just doubled it up, made it into a bar basically. And next we're going to put 2 blue pins, long pins. We're going to go short end in first, so they're going to stay in line with the axle. So we've got 2, 1 next to each axle, and then on top of this axle and this pin here at the shallower part of the arch here. We're going to put a 1-hole 2-axle hole plate. That's going to go over axle and pin. And then we have another one. So we're doubling up to make it into a smallish beam. And then I think we're going to put arch piece on the top of that, just to cap that over. Now that's going to go on the front here, and it's going to extend it even more. Wow. Okay, so the pin and the axle here, these two here, are going to go into these two front holes here. I'll line up the pin first. And there we go. And that's just made it a little bit longer. not that I'm complaining. Oh, we got T-bar shape. Right, okay. So we got the T-bar, because it looks like a T. And we got to stand the T-bar on its end. And we're going to put 2 long pins in each side of the base of the T there, like that. And then we're going to pop that into these holes next to this arch piece. 2 pins again. Give it a bit of a wiggle. Push it through. Like that. Almost push the other one out. And so we got all these pins and axles going down here, but we're going to drive another one of those 3/4 pin, quarter axle straight through this bar into the middle of that T-bar, and that is going to be the pin first, so the axle's sticking out. So you've got all this lot going on here. That is a lot of pins and axles. Right, something else new. So we want the U shape. So it's kind of like a U shape with these 2 holes at the bottom. Got 2 axle holes in each side. Turn that on its end so the holes are at the top, and then you're going to drive 2 blue pins, short end in first, into those holes. Like that. And then we're going to drive 2 of these plates with 2 holes and 2 axle holes. And of course, you're going to line these pins up with those pinholes there. Push that through, and then put another one on top, making it a beam, like that. And then we're going to put the other U shape on top. So we got this kind of table looking thing. And then we're going to put 2 red 2 stud long axles in each end there. We're not going to push them all the way through, because what you're going to do is you're going to drop this over something, and then we're going to push the axles all the way through. So make sure your axles are not all the way through. I'm just going to put this in there and push that axle back, because I did push it a little bit further than I wanted. What you'll find is if you need to put it over a beam or something like that, like this, it will go over if you've got the axles in or out far enough. But if you have it slightly in, now I've just slightly pushed it in, see, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So now I have to line that back up again. There we go. So yeah, we got the table ready, and that is going to position over on this black beam here, just in front of that T-bar piece. And then while it's sitting on there, drive those 2 axles into these holes. And the axles are just long enough that they will not poke out the other side. See that? Very cool. Oh, next is some panel work. Right, so we got the black panels. These are very small panels. What do we want? Do we want this one? We want the other one. Right. So we'll this one. And we're going to have the axle hole on the left hand side. These pins, these 2 pinholes facing up. Now, yeah, this one, you would have the smooth surface towards you. Now that's how you know you've got the right one. You're going to have the smooth surface towards you, because if you do the same thing with this, the smooth surface is on the other side. Okay, so this is usually used as the outside of the panel, and this is usually used as the inside of the panel. So we're going to put a red axle in the axle hole there, and you can push that pretty much all the way, because there is something on the inside of the panel that stops the pin going all the way through. Very cool. We'd apply a sticker, but we're not going to do that because James never did that with his Lego. And then we're going to fix it to the axle hole in this beam here. So we're just going to pop that into there, because it's going through two plates. Give it a bit of a wiggle. There we go, and it's in like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other panel. So axle through the same piece, and then it's going to go into the other axle hole like that. That went a lot easier. Next we got what looks like a really cool piece that goes on the top. I think it's going to be the bonnet, isn't it? So this is a 13 hole beam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're going to put a pin in the end, and it's a long pin, and it's going to go long ways in, so that you're going to have this pin half on each side. If you put it in short way, which is what we've been doing here, it's only going to be on one side and it's going to be longer on the other side. So this is the second purpose for this pin. Turn it around and put it in long ways, you get a pin on each side. Very clever. Next, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do a hole. We're going to drop a hole and then through. And we're going to use these two really long body panels. A little bit easier to explain the axle thing, because the axle hole would have been in here, and then you got these two pins here. But you can see the smooth surface. That's the outside. The inside is like this with all the connectors and stuff like that. We're going to have the bottom pin, these pins here facing to are closest to me, and they're going to go into these two holes here and miss that middle one. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And you kind of got a bonnet. We put some stickers on the top there, but we're not going to do that. And then we're going to place that on top. Now then, is it going to go? Oh, I see. So we're going to place it on top and then push it back into the H shape here. That's what we're going to do. Right, okay. Like that. Very cool. And looks like we're going to drive something through here to stop this from flapping about. Or it's going to be an axle going through here. I would say an axle is a little bit more stable. It won't slip and slide. We got a pin. Okay, so we got a long pin. It's a blue pin, and it's going to go in long ways. So again, it's going to be half and half. This half is going to go into that T-bar. If I can get lined up. There we go. So we've got all these pins. There's a lot of pins to line up now. And then we got the axle. So we are going to do the axle and we are going to do the pin. Okay, interesting. Like that. Now we've got loads more stuff to line up. And then we're going to close off with a T-bar. So we're going to put the T-bar on these two blue pins here and this blue pin here. You can actually see a T shape here. There's three things to line up because you've got three pins going over an axle like that. And I'm guessing we're going to do the arch piece next. Yes, we are. So all you need to do is just put the two panels over over the axle, the pin, axle. I'm going to keep my fingers behind the axles so that I don't push them through like I did just there. Just a little bit, not much, but it's enough. Because if you push it all the way through, the next panel is not going to have anything to have purchase on, you see. So we're going to put that over there, That looks pretty good. And we got our nose cone of our car done. We got the bonnet done. Next, I think we're going to be doing the back end. No, we're going to pimp it up a little bit. We're going to spice this up with some of these claw, teeth, feet elements. I'm not quite sure what to call it. Anyway, we're going to use a 5-axle. So again, it is a grey axle. We're going to put one of these on the end of that grey axle. Then we're going to thread that grey axle through this middle hole here of the arch piece. And you're going to have the pointy bit facing you. And it needs to find a hole, a plate, a hole, a plate. Is that an axle hole as well? It is. So we've got to line up 2 axle holes that are in the middle. So that needs definitely a little bit of a wiggle around. And it will go. There we go. And I'm going to keep my finger behind that axle. And we're going to put that other claw teeth thing element, foot thing, on there. And that kind of gives a little bit more definition on the front here. It kind of looks like a downforce spoiler. That's kind of cool. Because this is a record breaker, so it needs as much downforce as possible. A 5-axle. And we're going to put an ET head, and it's going to be in the middle of that axle. Bit like that. And then we're going to have I would have thought putting pins in here would have made that a bit more easier. We'll try this. So we're going to take this silver tube, the silver pin connector, and go put a pin, black pin in each side, and we're going to do that 3 times. So there's our tube, there's our pins, like that, and then there's a tube. Really, I don't know how. I think in every single one of my Lego videos I drop Lego, not drop Lego like people do in videos and stuff like that. Anyway, we're going to have these go into these 3 holes here, and this is where we find out if this was the easiest way to do it. Yeah, it's going okay. I'm going to have these slits here. They got these slots underneath or on one side of that tube. Gonna have them so that they're the same, because I think we're either going to be using it for detail or we're hiding it. I'm not sure yet. So then we're going to join this with 2 1-hole and axle connectors, and we're going to have the holes at the top instead of the hole hanging at the bottom like that. So it's hanging at the top instead of at the bottom. So we're going to turn that one around. So you've got these 2 pinholes here. And then we're putting another ET head over these 3. So I need another ET head. There it is. 3 pins to line up. So a bit of a wiggle like that. It looks like this is like the supercharger. Yeah, could be. So these 2 black pins here are going to line up with these 2 white holes here, and you're going to have this piece here, the ET bottom of ET's head, is going to sit in this slot here, like that. Look at that. That actually looks kind of cool. It is a supercharger, isn't it? That actually looks really kind of cool. I like that. What I like about Lego is some builds, you just don't see what's coming until you pop it on there, or you put a few other pieces on, and then boom. Because it's like an artist's drawing or painting. Doesn't look very good at the beginning, or it doesn't look like anything at the beginning, but by golly does it look fantastic at the end. So we're going to have this way. Okay, so we got the 4 holes at the bottom here, and then we got all 6 holes at the top. So we're going to line these 4 these 4 pins with these 4 holes like that. And then I don't think there's anything stopping us doing the other side, so we're going to do the other side as well. So the 4 holes. Oh! Watch, this is where we shouldn't have put this panel on yet. No, we're not going to. I'm not going to do that. Not going to do it. Yeah, see, steering wheel's got to go in first. Right. Alright, so this is the steering wheel build, and we've got a half, my gosh, a half steering wheel there, kind of like a Batman-esque or Knight Rider steering wheel. We're going to put a blue pin with axle. The axle's going to go in the back end of it. And then we're going to put this in a 2-axle, 1-hole connector. And this pin is going to go into the middle of that connector. And then we're going to have 2 blue pins with axle on each side. Like that. And then that is going to connect to, I think it's just going to go into this pinhole here, which is the one of the 6 here, the 3 here. So obviously you're going to have your steering wheel facing towards the chair, and there we go. Actually looks quite cool. Now, are we putting the other panel on? We are, right. So let's put the panel on, line up the 4 holes, plus the axle and that pin. Give it a bit of a wiggle, because that's a lot of pieces to line up. As you can see, this is not lining up. It's actually kind of tricky to hold because the shape of it. Right, I've got a pin in. There's all 4 pins are in. So you just got to line this pin up here with that axle. Perfect. And drop it in place. That is really cool. That is a really cool compact cockpit, and it looks tidy. You know, it's got this smooth edges around it. Yeah, this is actually looking pretty good. This is actually looking very well thought of. You know, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay, you know, it's going to be, yeah, nothing overly too special and wowy. But I'm starting to get wowed already. So we got a L shape, small L shape. The 3-axle is going to go into the axle hole here, the top of the L shape. And then we're going to drive 3 pins short ways in, so they line up or in line with the axle. Going to put 3 of those down there, and that is the last of the blue pins, I think. So we're getting close. And two axle 1-hole connector. And we're going to do 2 of these. So we're joining 2 of these together. We've got the 3-axle here is going to go into the axle hole there. It doesn't matter which one, because you're joining the other together like that. And now we have the axle. Does matter which way it's going now. It's going to be facing towards you, and it's poking out towards you, okay? Then it's going to sit on these first 2 pins here, like that. Okay? And then it's going to go into the back of this pullback motor here. And it's going to be this axle, this pin are going to go into that pullback motor. So it's the pin you're lining up, so it's not too bad. And then I guess we're putting the other L shape on this side here. We are indeed. So you got 3 pins to line up plus the axle. Axle's going to be easy. It's the 3 pins. A wiggle. There we go. And yeah, we're getting a really nice tidy build here. I'm really liking this. Okay, so we got this wing type looking thing. It's definitely a wing. I haven't used... actually, we've used this once before in the ultralight helicopter. Yeah. So then we got the four-long axle with a stopper on the end. The stopper stops it from... It can demonstrate on a pinhole. It stops it from falling straight through, which is why it's called a stopper. Good for axles and other things like that. For this, we're going to use it in the tail. You're going to have the tail facing that way, and you're going to have the pin or the axle stopper at the foot of the tail. Then we're going to put two small bushings. I'll put my finger behind that stopper so that it stops it from... put my finger behind the stopper. Ah, gosh. And two small bushings. Then we're going to drive this into these axle holes here at the top. There's two axle holes, so you kind of might have to give it a bit of a wiggle. We're going to push that through. And yep, we need a little bit of a wiggle. And there we go. And the axle shouldn't be poking out because it's not long enough. But that's a solid wing right there. Then we got the cockpit. Oh, look what this wheel's for. Look what this wheel's for. It's going to sit on the end of this axle here, and you're going to use... You could use the... you can't actually. It's too deep. So we're going to be using the industrial side, and it's going to be as a jet engine. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool, and that's what I like about the wheels, that you can use them for anything other than wheel rims. So then we got these two clips here from the motor, from the handlebar piece, not handlebar, the forks, and that is, this bar here is going to go into these two clips, and that will be for your cockpit. And ooh, nice. Okay, it's got a little pause there, and then it goes. That's kind of nice. That's, yeah, this, I mean, you got a little bit of a gap behind there and stuff, and I'm going to forgive that because the whole thing is really nice and tight. Do you know what? I'm tempted to make wings for this. Then you get a really cool Viper fightery type thing. Ooh. Because you could use these to pin the wings to. Oh, yeah. There's a mock coming. Off the subject. Yeah, there's definitely... yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. Anyway, so we're going to put a 6-axle, and 6-axle is going to go through the middle hole of the T-bar here. We've got the 6-axle here. We're going to put a small bushing on one side, and it's going to be quarter of the way up the axle. Okay. Maybe less than quarter. And it's going to go through the middle there. And then we're going to put another one on the other side. This is going to be your front axle, your front wheel axle. That's what this is going to be. Let's just make it so it's nice and evenish. So it looks good. Because I think we've got plates that are going over it. Anyway, right. And you don't want it tight. You don't want it tight. So slacken the bushing off a little bit. There we go. You don't want it tight. I mean, that's gonna be tight enough as it is, I think, to be honest with you. I probably wouldn't be using that particular thing for this, because I think you could put the aerial I forgot one here. Not, yeah, this is it with the stopper on the end. You could probably use this and put it through. Oh, you can't, can you? I'm sure you can. Oops. Oh, it's tough. It's tough. It's not easy to do. So maybe it won't work. Yep. So we're going to put these rubber rings around the rims here, around the pulley wheels, and these are going to act as your front wheels. And then you just go pop them on the end of these axles here, like so. It's going to have a little bit of work to do. Alright, then the rear wheels. So got these really ultra thin tyres here that I have not seen at all in a Lego build that I've done yet. They've always been quite a thick tyre. That went on fairly well. These like racing slicks, but they're not slicks obviously because they got tread. But yeah, very low profile. I'll push that around a bit just so that it gets in there. I think that's it. And then we go use industrial side. We're not having the spokey side. We're having the industrial side. We could put the spokey side on, but for the sake of correctness, we're going to put them on spokey side because we're putting these discs over them, you see. If we had the spokes on, we wouldn't be able to put the discs over, but the spokes would look pretty cool. But we're putting these discs on, and it kind of then gives it a little bit of more of a dragster wheel type thing. And that is it. And this looks absolutely fantastic, I have to say. Let's see how good it is. Oops. I'm going to run into my things. Oh my gosh, that's fast. Oh, ow. Get rid of this. No, get rid of that. There you go. This is fast. Damn. Oh, blimey. Yeah, that's super fast. Super fast. There we go. So there we go, folks. I mean, it is really cool. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to drop the brightness there for a sec. So maybe you'd be able to see it a bit better against the white background. Yeah, you can see the tail a little bit better now. Yeah, the whole build is really tidy. It looks really smooth. The cockpit, nice little steering wheel in there, great effects. You could probably turn that steering wheel so that your things like that. I don't know if that looks better. I think I like it down. I like how they've kind of really made that pullback engine look like part of the body and stuff like that. Looks really good. Very simple but effective part usage with particular the rims and stuff, and these pulley wheels as being the front. And I thought that they were going to drag a little bit because there's not much free wheel there, but nope. It's super fast, and my camera's just gone completely out of focus. So we're going to switch over to the other one. There you go, folks. The record breaker certainly holds up to its name. It's an absolutely fantastically tidy build. I am very surprised by how tidy it came in the finish, and it would look probably a bit chaotic with all the stickers on it, to be honest with you. We do have the stickers. There's a sticker sheet right there, but we're not gonna pop them on. But yeah, what a cool car. $17.99, and you could have an awful lot of fun with this. You get you and your brother or your mate or whatever, another member of family, friend, whatever, to have another one and have a drag race with a ramp and a ditch. You know where I'm going. We could really go with that. Also, adding wings to that to make it a fighter, some sort of colonial vipery looking type thing. That's going to be done. That is going to be done. So watch out for that. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed making it. And if you didn't enjoy making it, if you didn't enjoy the video, give it a thumbs down. Don't be shy and let me know why in the comments below, please. And also, just drop a comment. That'd be cool. Don't forget to subscribe as well. The subscription is absolutely free, and all it does is it gives you notifications that there's coming another video, and there'll be another one tomorrow. Thank you so much, folks. I am Shaun from BRIT'N Bricks. Peace.